Morning.
Good morning, Kathy. How you doing?
I'm doing great because I got to see you in person on Saturday, and that's
Oh,
like always awesome.
it was so fun. So, it's October 28th.
Yeah.
The last time we did a video, I think it was like September 24th or 5th or something like that, like a month ago. So
Yeah.
a lot has happened in the last month. Oh, and welcome to everybody listening in on this. This is the Alberta Women's Independence Network little video that we do
Little
once a month.
plug. Little plug that we do. Yeah.
Little plug. So, yeah, my goodness, it was a month ago. So, yeah, we saw each other in Edmonton
Yep.
on the weekend at the Independence Rally. We're going to talk about that today. But
Mm-hmm.
first, let's talk about the municipal election because Alberta just had municipal elections all
Yep.
across the province. Every municipality had
Yep.
elections for their local councils and also for the school boards.
Yes. Yes.
And you ran for
I did.
Strathcona County. Good
Yeah.
job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was
So,
fun.
yeah, I mean, campaigning can be fun.
I love it. I love it. So many people hate it, but I don't know. You get out there, you talk to people, you find out what's going on. What are they thinking about? I love it.
Well, and I mean, when you think about it, that's really what our municipal representatives should be doing. Is the whole idea is to find out, what people to represent the people around them, and so they need to know and be able to speak to people and find out, like, what are you thinking? What are your concerns? What are we doing good? What could we improve on? So that's totally up your alley to be able to do that. So tell us about the election. Like, how did it go in Strathcona County?
It was, I guess the outcome was what we expected. I'll put it
Mhm.
that way. But it was also a little bit disappointing in a way because there was a lot of complaining in Strathcona County about the representatives that are there right now, and including like right up to the mayor. There's a lot of people that are not very happy with him, and a lot of the councillors not very happy with them. They've made some pretty poor decisions in the eyes of the people that live here. And so there was myself and a handful of others who said, well, okay, we'll give you somebody else to vote for then. And none of us got in.
Was it all incumbents then?
All incumbents, except for my ward that had no incumbent. But the guy that got in was like, he's cut from the same cloth as any of the other incumbents, right? So, yeah, none of us. And so you look at that and you go, okay, well, and then 26% turnout, that's pretty bad.
That
Not
is
as
so
bad
cool.
as, right? Like, not as bad as what we heard in Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie was 18%, I heard on the weekend.
Yikes.
Yeah. Um, and Grand Prairie did the same. Like, we know a couple of the guys up there that ran, and they said the same thing. You guys are complaining. Okay, we'll give you somebody else to vote for. And then the people didn't come out, and so it's like, okay, well, we did our part. Well,
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Can't put it on us. But it is, I think, a bit disappointing in that all of us that were knocking on doors heard very different things than what all of the incumbents said they heard. So you're going,
Mm.
okay, that's interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. And I don't know if that was the same way in every municipality, but that's what it was here. However, not everything is lost because Calgary turned around a little bit.
Yes, they got a new mayor.
They got, yeah, like
They
it's
really need it.
sort of, right? But I think they did better on the councillor side of things
Oh, yeah.
than
Right. Yes.
what they could have done on mayor.
Hmm.
So there's that. And then there's some other smaller municipalities who
Yes.
really took the bull by the horns and said, out, you guys out. And they ousted them and got some different community people in there. So that's good. That, wasn't all bad all the way across. It's just a reminder that maybe we've got a little bit of educating to do, not just so much on Alberta independence and all the reasons why, but on why it's important to remember that we still have to use the political process to get there. So
Right.
we can't give up on it yet. Like, it's frustrating and it's yucky, and the Westminster system just doesn't work for Albertans. not most of us. I shouldn't say all. I should put us all in that basket. There's some that absolutely love being communist light, but most of us don't fall into that category, which is why we don't want to participate, because we, as conservatives, especially those of us with the libertarian bent, if I don't like a restaurant, I'm not going.
Right.
Right. So
Yeah.
to turn that into this, if I don't like how the political system is structured, so I'm just not participating.
I think that might be part of the problem.
Yeah.
And I already, in our last video, I talked about like my county and how like only one person, actually two people stepped forward that were new, but out of the 7 wards, 6 of them were acclaimed.
Yeah.
And the same thing with I was like super disappointed because I was like, well, I guess I can't vote for anybody for my county council because there was only one person that stepped forward, and our previous county councilor had actually passed away while he was in office, and so that's why that position was open. But on voting day, I thought, well, okay, then I'm going to go vote for school board, and I had been looking at some of the different candidates, but I didn't realize because I'm in a new voting district, I guess, this municipal election compared to last municipal election, and so I didn't realize where the boundaries were. So when I went and looked, sure enough, only one person from my area had stepped forward for that as well, right? So I was like, I don't even get to vote at all, like on voting day. But I've really thought a lot about that. Like, why do we not have the participation? Something that I, in a way that I did participate during the municipal election, was right at the very beginning. Someone had placed a question on our AWIN page, our Facebook page, might have been our X page as well, but asking, is there a list of municipal candidates across the province who support separation? And I thought, that is interesting. And so what I did over the next month was I had this email that I sent out to, I don't know how many hundreds, maybe even thousands of candidates across the province. I found a listing of every single municipality in the province, went to their website, and most of them, the smaller ones, not so much, but most of them did provide with their list of candidates, also their contact information, their email address.
Right.
And so I just sent out like hundreds, like I said, maybe even thousands of emails to folks just saying, we're creating this list. Do you want to be on the list? There was a fair number that said, yes, please put me on the list. Man, it was a simple question. Do you want to be on the list? If you want to be on the list, provide this information. That was it.
Yeah. Some gave you not a simple answer.
My heck, Kathy. Like,
I know.
I was just astounded. And I'm astounded by the left and how brazen and rude they are. Like, just, if you don't want to be on the list, don't provide the information. That's all it was. But no, it was like, you're a stupid moron, you're an idiot, da 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 da. I was just like, what? I thought, my heck, you guys are giving me so much fodder. I could make a list of all the people that would make really crappy representatives, because heaven forbid they ever had a constituent come to them with an idea that they didn't already agree with. And I even said this to this one guy from Medicine Hat, who, by the way, did not get elected. Thank goodness for Medicine Hat. But I said, you are making this way too easy. Like, I went to his, just out of curiosity, it was late at night. I was like, I'm losing my mind now. I've sent out so many of these emails. I went to his Facebook page, and he had all kinds of, oh, I believe in listening to the people and working together and all this stuff. And I quoted it back to him. I said, really? This is what you're representing on a Facebook page? But when somebody asks you a question about an issue that you don't agree with, this is your response? Right? So anyways, I digress. It was interesting, but out of curiosity, I went through the list after just to see, if any of these folks had been elected or not. But the thing that stuck out to me was every municipality listed the percentage of voters that turned out, and how very, very sad and pathetic that number was. And when I look at my county, I can tell you right now why folks aren't getting involved. It's almost hostile for members of the public to go and try to give input on
Mm-hmm.
that council.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why people would not want to get involved, and that's a problem. Um, but the other thing too, and I was just listening to the Sean Newman podcast yesterday and this morning, where he interviewed Tom Mazzaro, no Marazzo,
Marazzo.
Marazzo, who was involved in the Freedom Convoy in some capacity, and who also has written a book called The People's Emergency Plan, something like that, talking to folks about personal preparation, not relying on the government
Mm-hmm.
for when, if there's civil unrest, or if there's a giant snowstorm, or if there's a flood or whatever, right? It's talking
Mm-hmm.
about becoming prepared. But he made a comment that really, I thought, it stuck out to me, and I think it's applicable here, where he says now is not the time to pull back, even though we see all the things that the federal government is doing and these crazy internet censorship bills and stuff that they're putting through, trying to push
Mm-hmm.
through. Now is not the time to pull back. And he made the point that during the whole COVID thing, the federal government, Trudeau was issuing his daily edicts as to how we're going to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
But it was actually the local governments, provincial and municipal, who did his dirty work.
That's right.
And, we're just following orders
Yep.
type of thing. And so, yeah, I'm with you. Greatly disappointed when I hear like 22% turnout, 18% turnout.
Yep.
But as conservatives, or as anyone, it's not the time to pull back. And especially those pushing for Alberta independence. We're not out yet.
Exactly. Exactly. And I look at the school boards, like what happened here with, I vote for the public, not the Catholic. So I honestly didn't pay a lot of attention to the Catholic, but I did pay attention to the public one. And there was certainly one candidate who should have been a shoo-in. The guy doesn't have an enemy to be found in this community. None. It didn't matter where you went. People sung his praises as a teacher, as a principal, as an educator, just a human being. He was just a lovely, lovely man. Didn't get on.
That's crazy.
Didn't get on. And I'm not suggesting that there was at all any kind of election interference or whatever. I'm suggesting there was only 26% of the electorate who got off the couch and went and did something.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that all the ones who would have voted for him must have stayed home.
In all likelihood, and I think that there is like this propensity for folks that when they want to see change, and they have candidates who are specific for that change, that they're more likely to get out to vote. Meaning, if you have folks on the left or the woke who would love to see, various initiatives put in place in the schools, they're going to get out and they're going to vote for the candidates who are going to do those things, right?
Yeah.
But if you are one who is like kind of trying to hold that back, maybe even just maintain the status quo, you might be a little less motivated to do so. Mm-hmm. When really you shouldn't be. You should be making sure that you are at the voting station and making your voice heard, that no, I don't want those things in my children's school. I don't want that. But I also get the feeling that a lot of people, especially looking at the teacher strike the last month, are rethinking their options. Not everybody has the options, but rethinking their options when it comes to the children's education, and maybe are just feeling like, I could care less.
There's that too.
And I'll be honest, when I homeschooled my kids, I did not look at the local school board. I was not
Mhm.
enrolled with the local school board. I did not look at the local school board. They could have, like, I don't know, mandated all kinds of crazy stuff. I wouldn't have cared. I was not involved in that system. Was
Right.
that the right attitude? Probably not. But honestly, that's kind of where it was at.
Well, and that's a fair attitude. Like you would think at least the parents would show up.
Hmm.
And I did run into one guy. I was campaigning for one of the other gals that was running for a school board. And I didn't get to vote for her because she wasn't in my spot where
Right.
but I did want to go out and help her. And
Hmm.
so I was campaigning for her as well. And one of the guys that I ran into said, like, I don't have kids in school anymore. I don't care. And I said, but don't you care about your grandkids or other people's kids? Like, these are the ones that are going to look after us when we're old. Like, we need your care. This is
Right.
not
Yeah.
this is not good. This is not good. But you mentioned you make a very, very valid point. The appetite for alternative means of educating children is increasing by the day, which
Yep.
is why I suppose we're seeing there's that one teacher, I think she's in Calgary, right, who wants to put forward the citizens led
Oh yeah.
referendum that only public funds go to public schools. She doesn't understand the can of whoop up that she's about to unleash.
That and basic math.
Right?
Like, I had a teacher come at me online because I said, I am wary of any system that claims to be able to provide an education to every single student in every single situation. It just doesn't exist. It's not
No.
possible.
Mm-mm.
Um, anyways, but yeah, she kind of came at me and I said, look at, really? Okay, so we have many charter schools and private schools that are catering to children who have severe learning disabilities
Yep.
and who are English as a second language. So what you're basically saying is none of them should get any funding, and if they don't get funding, the vast majority of those parents are going to be forced to put their kids into a public system that you're claiming is overloaded already,
Mm-hmm.
that your classes are too big already. And
Mm-hmm.
so, okay, sure, then you'll get the funding that they were getting, but that doesn't magically make new schools just appear on the prairies for
Oh,
us to fill
exactly.
with students and teachers. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I got into an argument online too. I love those online arguments sometimes. Um, Maybe a little too much, but this guy is saying, "Well, you're not doing the math because I did the same, right? I went down the numbers trail, and he says you're not doing the math. All those charter schools will just turn into public schools." And I immediately went to the school in little village of Andrew that was a public school until they wanted to shut it down. So the people of Andrew said, "Well, give it to us. We'll take it." And
Yeah.
so they did, and now a charter school runs out of there. So no, it's not.
It
Not
doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work. It's quite the opposite, in fact, that's happening. So yeah, I mean, I guess all I can say really is parents maybe, well, you just might want to look at some other ways of making sure your kids learn their ABCs and one, two, threes because we weren't able to make the changes that needed to happen at the school board level, I don't think.
Yeah, I have a local friend. I know her personally, but also on Facebook. And last night I saw her post, and she just said, "Oh, I've decided to homeschool my child because we can't take the chaos anymore."
Hmm. And the worst part is I can't even really blame the teachers. I mean, they're working with what they're given to work with. There's the ones in there that have lost their ever loving minds and shouldn't have a job. There's no doubt about that.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't think it's the norm. I think.
No, no. I mean, I look at the teachers in my community. We have a wonderful public school right across the street from me. It's actually kind of a pilot project for, like, it's an agricultural focused school.
Oh,
And
cool.
I think I've spoken about it before, but like they have a little barn over there and the kids raise a couple cows every year and they raise rabbits and chickens and bees and quail and like, and then they sell the product to the community, that type of thing. Like they're learning all that.
Nice.
They have a garden, they have a little greenhouse. And I look at the teachers in my community and I'm like, no, I mean, Unfortunately, it sure looks like that these students are being used as pawns in a political fight between, the unions and the NDP and the UCP. But I look at the teachers here and I'm like, I'm sure that none of them are in support of that. They're just kind of sucked into it because they are mandated to be a part of a union.
Mhm.
That would be my guess anyways. And in talking to a few of them, they have said, yeah, I do not support this. It's not right. So yeah, but yeah, so there's a lot of different moving parts that we can observe and see why maybe folks would not want to get involved or take the time to go vote or research their candidates or whatever if they have any on the municipal level and on the school board level. But
Mhm.
but now is really not the time for us to be pulling back. And on top of that, and Tom Marazzo also mentioned this, that Alberta independence is a great way for Albertans to stand up to the system and to
Mhm.
say enough. We need change. We're not satisfied with the status quo, and we're not putting up with it anymore. And so that is a great outlet. And so if you really, really can't bring yourself to get involved municipally or provincially in politics, Alberta independence is a way for you to get involved, to have your
Yeah.
voice heard, in a wonderful way. And we saw that this weekend with the rally.
We did. We
Mhm.
did. I wasn't going to go. I'll just confess that right now.
I'm so
I
glad
was
you did.
I was not going to go. And then you said that you were coming up with some other folks that we know from down there, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to go. This is good because I'm just rallied out. Um,
Fair enough.
but then there was buses that were coming right from Sherwood Park. I was like, well, now I have zero excuse. I don't even have to try and find a parking spot. So yeah, once all my excuses were removed, then
Mhm.
then we went, and oh my goodness,
It was good.
it was so good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like a family reunion in some
Oh,
ways.
I was just gonna say that, like, okay, so like, yeah, like I kind of picked up people, in the province as we're coming up, type of thing.
Yeah, you did.
Stop here and pick up this person. Stop here and pick up this person, type of thing. So yeah, we met you in Sherwood Park at the buses because that was way easier than trying to find parking downtown,
Yep,
Edmonton. And yeah, we get on the bus and there's like, oh my goodness, the sweetest little couple that we knew from back in our WIPA days.
I
Um,
know.
and
I
they're from
didn't
Red
even
Deer.
recognize them. You did. I didn't even recognize them.
Well, they recognized me, and I was like, "Oh, wait a second, it's Frank and
Ah,
Brenda." Like, yeah, it just felt like this total like family reunion, and yeah, seeing folks that we've had. Craig from Grand Prairie came over and did
yeah,
a big hug, and yeah, so it was. Yeah, it did feel like that for sure. It
it
was
really did.
fantastic.
And every time I turned around and yeah, I see, oh my gosh, it's you. Oh my gosh, it's you. Like
Yeah,
it was so cool. It was so cool. It was very fun. Very
yeah.
fun. I didn't even really hear what the speakers said because I was too busy talking myself. I was just going around making
Fair enough.
friends and catching up with old ones and making new ones. And
There was some good speeches. There was the guy from Unacceptable Fringe.
hmm
I really enjoyed his speech. It was very upbeat and very like not and I mean some people are more comfortable standing behind the podium, but he was like talking to the people and engaging.
nice.
I found that really fun, and it wasn't too long. He was just up there like make a few points and get people kind of happy and excited to be there. And also Keith Wilson. Um,
Mm,
always love his stuff and his contribution. Of course, he's so knowledgeable. He just knows his stuff. But yeah, his speech was short, punchy, to the point, energetic. Loved it. Loved it. And
that's
that's really
great.
what you need at the rallies is that you need those really like get people really feeling excited and engaged and that type of thing. So yeah, there was some good speakers and um yeah, it was a good turnout. There was
hmm
I know there's questions about the numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And really it doesn't make one iota of difference whether it was 2,500 or 25,000 people came together. It is no indicator of the support because we live in such a huge province,
Yeah.
I've heard some people say, oh, well, you got this percentage of the population come to the rally. Okay. We're literally
And
asking people to drive 5 and 6 hours one way,
yeah.
right? And so it is no indicator of the support. And I suspect from what I have seen, and Kathy, you've probably seen this too, when we
Mm.
go around the province and we're not in an APP meeting, which can sometimes feel like a bit of an echo chamber. We're not online, which can sometimes be a bit of an echo chamber, but when we are actually in people's homes
Mhm.
and they're inviting their neighbors over
Yeah.
and we're having these discussions, I suspect that there are a bunch of well, just for the alliteration, I'll say sleeper separatists.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
across the province, that
Yeah.
there might be a big shock and a big surprise when this goes to referendum.
I think so.
And folks that just aren't into rallies, aren't into meetings, but look at the situation and go, "Yep, I see it for what it is." And my only hope is Alberta independence.
That's it. Yeah. Something else that spoke volumes to me is the police presence that was there was heavy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
was heavy. And that was one of the first things I noticed when we got off that bus as I'm trying to get my bearings because they're saying, you're going to come right back here to get on this bus. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I lose my car in parking lot all the time. And now you're expecting me to. Anyway, but it worked out. I made it back to the bus. So that was fine. But the minute we got off, I was astounded at the police presence. I
Oh
said,
yeah.
what are you expecting us to do? This is like, do you realize who's here? This is crazy. But then I realized that it probably wasn't actually us that they were worried about because I decided to go for a walk to see who else I could find that I knew. And that there was a bridge that people were standing on. And I wanted to
Right.
go up there and see who was up. So tootled my way up there. And that's where the counter protesters were.
All 12 of them?
All like maybe 12 of them. I'm
Maybe.
calling it maybe 12 of them. I'm calling it at best a baker's dozen. Like there was not a lot of them. I got a picture of it because I thought even spread out, you guys don't look like a large number.
No.
And when I got up there, there was literally a wall of sheriffs in between them and the rest of us. And the rest of us really didn't care. We weren't even like we're just sort of looking at them. Well, it was sort of in some regards, it was like an early Halloween costume show because of the way they were dressed, some of them.
Mhm.
And especially one was in a Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale wannabe.
I'm like, you want to read the book again? Like, just a thought.
Again.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, so there was that, and there was only, to my knowledge, there was only one, and I wouldn't even call it an altercation. It was literally a yelling match that
Mm,
someone on sort of the opposite side, I guess, started, and then one guy on our side, I'll call it, uh, was trying to just get him to understand, like we're just have the conversation, and it was just all that came out of the other guy's mouth uh sitting next to the Handmaid's Tale was just a big long line of expletives and name calling and all the rest. I'm thinking, buddy, you're not helping yourself.
no.
You're not helping your cause at all by behaving like this. And so it was just like, hey, whatever. I turned around and paid attention and went on to the rally. Like they got no rise, no nothing out of any of us. So there was a
Mm,
couple that snuck past that um kind of that police wall
right.
and came down into the crowd and tried to
But they
do
were
something.
completely ignored. Like,
They were. It could just like, oh
that's
yeah,
okay.
okay,
Yeah.
whatever. You can say that. Guess what? You can say that.
And we
Surprise.
support you in being able to say that. Yeah.
And we want you to. Exactly. And so that was kind of fun. Like once again, the conservatives proved that we're not the crazy ones.
Yeah.
We're not the crazy ones.
Yeah.
It just wild to me. In fact, there was when I went to how do you say his last name? Sean Foyt. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
When I went to his concert that he had at the Ledge
Mm-hmm.
in the summertime, there were way more protesters, anti-counter protesters there than there were at the rally.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting to make that comparison. Um, the other thing that's always pretty cool whenever we have these kind of events, and this one was large, there was a lot of people there, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
families there, a lot of dogs there,
Mm-hmm.
is when the cleanup crew showed up, there was nothing to clean up.
No, and in fact, like when the rally was over and everybody's kind of dissipated, like someone on the microphone was like, "Oh, be sure to like if you see any garbage on the ground, pick up any garbage, whatever. Let's leave the place clean." And I was looking around, I'm like, "There
There's
is
nothing.
nothing."
No,
Yeah.
there was nothing. And that is really, well, because first of all, we're not animals. We know how to pick up after ourselves and our animals for that matter. Um, and a handful of us were handing out stuff,
Oh yeah.
information, and you didn't even see that
No, I was
laying
kind of
around.
expecting to see, flyers or whatever. And yeah, I mean, and that was another thing. Like, the ladies and I and you, even though you
Mhm.
say you didn't because you were talking, but you did.
I was always talking.
We handed out about 200 flyers,
Yeah.
just basically inviting, like letting people know what AWIN is doing and inviting people
Mhm.
to host an AWIN get together.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was
absolutely.
fun. Had some cool conversations with folks that were like, "Oh yeah, I recognize you from your YouTube video or whatever," or "I've heard about you guys or whatever." So that was kind of nice to see and to hear.
That is really cool.
And people were very receptive to like the information we were giving them, so that was great.
Yeah, that is really cool. That's really cool. Because I think we forget, just because some of us don't have the major followings, or we don't have all the eyes on us, I guess, and the ears listening to us. It doesn't mean that nobody's listening.
No, and
They definitely are.
I like the idea of yeah, here I am saying it out loud. I like the idea of flying under the radar.
We kind of are.
No, we're just a bunch of grandmas getting together. That's all.
Well,
Don't worry
that's
about
what
it.
I tell people. We're just two women who won't shut up. Like,
Don't worry about it.
we're good. We just talk all the time. Which,
Yeah.
segues nicely into when we looked at the media exposure of the rally on Saturday. It was
Which media? The ones funded by the federal government?
like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, they didn't have much to say, but this is really, really interesting. This reminds me of a conversation I had with a couple of guests because I run a bed and breakfast just outside of Waterton.
Yeah.
And we had two couples staying with us on the same night. One was from up near Lacombe, and another one was from Britain. These two
Oh.
couples. And we're over breakfast, we get talking, and I can't remember how it comes up, but somehow it comes up about Alberta independence.
Mm-hmm.
And the folks from Lacombe were like totally on board, right? And almost every time it comes, and it doesn't come up a lot because I don't bring it up with my guests, but if they bring it up, it does come up quite a lot with guests from Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And almost every time they are like, yeah, we're totally in, we're all in, right?
Yeah.
These are folks from all over the province, but anyways, the couple in Britain was just shocked when we started talking about what's been going on in Alberta and the independence movement, and how it's picking up and stuff. They were like, how come we've never heard anything of this? Like, this is pretty major. Like, Canada is a big country and part of the G7. If they break up, shouldn't people around the world know that? And I was like, well, how are you going to know that? Because the media will never
No.
report on this.
Well, and part of the Commonwealth, and she didn't hear about it any more than we heard about the grooming gangs back in her home country,
No.
right? They don't want you to know.
No,
They
they're
don't
very
want you to know on
selective. And
purpose.
so, yeah, that was interesting. I mean, there was a helicopter flying overhead.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that it was Globals
That's what we were told, yeah.
that did several passes over the
Yeah.
legislature and the rally. And yet, was there anything said at all? I don't believe anything was said on their newscast or anything about it.
My son did message me after he watched the morning news and said there was about 5 seconds.
Oh, 5 seconds. Okay.
It happened.
Oh.
It
Well,
happened.
like I said, sleeper separatists. I'm afraid a lot of people are going to be very surprised.
Well, they are, but here now is my caveat of
Mm,
caution to this
mm,
is since we just had the municipal election that also included the school boards and the voter turnout was abysmal.
mm-hmm.
My fellow conservatives, you need to understand just because you support something does not mean that that support automatically through the ether translates onto a check mark on the ballot.
Mm. Yeah,
You
you're going to
have
have to get out and actually
you,
vote.
you got to get out and vote when we are given the opportunity for this referendum. We need to see like 70, 80% turnout
Yes. Yeah.
at least.
And it's looking from listening to the premier last week, it's
Mhm.
looking like she's looking at May or June,
Yeah, she is.
which gives us what, 7, 8 months?
Yes.
So we have got to get on this. There can't be any holding back.
Mm-mm.
Um, we've got Christmas in there.
Yep.
We have harsh Canadian winter, Alberta winter.
Yep.
But those things cannot stop us from picking up some momentum and continuing on with this and with the educating. And Kathy, the inviting,
And the inviting.
inviting. And this is what we do. This is what our group does. The Alberta Women's Independence Network is
Mm-hmm.
that we are inviting people to have us into their home with their neighbors and friends that they've invited, and and have the discussion in a way that is warm,
Yeah.
that builds community,
Mm-hmm.
that gives strength, and that approach will not appeal to everybody.
No.
Some people are more into the rah rah rally, let's go get them, shove it down their throat type of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of people are not.
That's right.
And so this is where our organization has a role in reaching those folks who are not into that, but who rather just need that arm put around them and say, come along with us.
That's
Like
right.
there's some hope, there's some excitement here,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a future to build, which is just beautiful and fantastic. And we have the most beautiful setting, the province of Alberta, to build that in.
We do. And even at the rally on Saturday when I was talking to the ladies, like one says, well, but I'm in Airdrie. I said, and my car knows how to get, like, I know how to get there. We can do this. It's fine. Angela's car also knows how to get there. So if one of us can't make it, we just lived that. You just went to Okotoks. I couldn't make it to Okotoks. You went to Okotoks. If you can't make it to somewhere, I go somewhere. Like
Exactly.
it
And
doesn't
now
matter.
we have these chapters set up where we have ladies. We're starting to
Yeah.
get these little groups all around the province of ladies who are willing to come and do meetings
Oh yeah.
in all the different areas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I had another one say Athabasca. I said, lovely. I know how to get to Athabasca. Let's go. When are we doing this? Like, let's
Right?
have, yeah, it gets just don't ever be shy to ask us to go anywhere. We don't care.
Yeah.
Really, we don't care. I
Yeah.
mean, if anything, it'll be just trying to get a date figured out. That's the
Right?
biggest challenge is
And
finding a date.
speaking of dates, okay, we do just before we did this, I saw an email come in from somebody in Calgary that's going to be doing a meeting in the next 2 weeks. So
Nice. Okay.
we are figuring out the date on that.
Yeah.
So we will be posting that on Facebook and on X and in our newsletter, which is coming out later this week. We'll have a
Good
newsletter
stuff.
coming out. You and I are doing an interview with a really cool young man that we interviewed.
Yeah, the tables are getting turned on Friday
Now
morning.
we're doing it. Now we're doing it for his YouTube
Yeah.
channel with Harad, who is an amazing young man. Oh, did you see the young people at the rally?
Yes.
Yes. I was
My
so
gosh.
excited to see that. I was like, yes, like college age kids at the rally, and quite a number of them.
Yeah.
that
Young
were there.
families with kids in their wagons, like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Young adults with their little kids, and
yep.
yeah, love it. So, anyways, we are doing a video with Harad. We're gonna be doing that on Friday. So I'm not sure when he's gonna release that. Probably a few days after that.
Okay.
And we've got invites out looking for folks who are willing to host us. So if anybody
Yeah.
wants to know, first off, if you want to know what our meetings look like and what we are presenting, we
Mhm.
have the Alberta Separation for, or Alberta Independence for Dummies video,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you can look for on our YouTube channel. But you can also just email us,
Oh yeah.
abwomensindependencenetwork@gmail.com. We'll put that in the show notes. We'll also put the link to the Tom Marazzo, Sean Newman podcast
Sure. That's a good idea.
in
Yeah.
our show notes as well. This is very good. But yeah, we will have links to our Facebook page, X page, and the email. Please contact us. We
Mm-hmm.
would love to let you know more about what we're doing and how you can get involved. And we had a bunch of folks who over the weekend saw our video. We did a Facebook Live on the way up to
Yes.
the rally. Yeah, and we got a lot of good response from that. So I've got like a couple ladies calling me this afternoon and just saying, "You are my people. How do I
Yeah.
get involved?" So, which is always exciting.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love that. I
yeah.
love that. Yeah. I think it's gonna be a bit of a cold winter. We had such a crappy summer. I think we're probably in for a crappy winter. So
Mhm.
since it's gonna be a bit of crappy weather, we might as well just get together in people's houses where it's nice and warm and talk all things independence.
Sit around the fire with a cup of tea and a cookie.
You bet. Get
Love
ready
it.
for that referendum.
Yeah. Yeah. We got some exciting times coming up, and we got to get ready for that.
We do. We do. And just to keep moving forward, like one step in
Yeah.
front of the other. I was sharing with you before we started recording, but I volunteer at the food bank every Monday, almost every Monday. And yesterday when I showed up, people were very nervous, I think wishing I had not come because they all knew that I was running in the municipal election. And they didn't really know how to respond to me because I didn't win. And it was just so fascinating to me. It's like, okay, well, and and I didn't win, so let's carry on. And I think if we ever see, I share that because sometimes in these battles, and the independence movement is going to be a battle. Don't think it
Mhm.
won't be. There's going to be times when you kind of feel like you've been taken back a little bit, where you thought something was going to work out differently and it didn't, where you thought maybe you were going to have a conversation with somebody and it didn't go the way you thought it was going to, or you had 25 people invited and 3 people showed up, or all the, there's just this myriad of things that can happen and you go, okay, good enough. Let's dust the dust our shoes and keep on keeping on, right?
Yeah.
So I say all of that to say, when, and because I've seen this happen where I've been invited to go someplace and it can be kind of far. It can be, make a full day of it.
Yeah.
And the person is really upset because all the people that they invited didn't show up. Okay, well, whoever came.
Yeah.
It's That's all that matters. Those people are now going to go talk to other people who are going to talk to other people who are going to talk to other people. So even though we maybe only had 4 or 5 people there,
Yeah.
it's the old Clairol commercial. Like they'll tell
Yeah.
2 friends and they'll tell 2 friends and so on and so on, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
It's the whole
please,
networking thing.
it is. So please, 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 ladies and gentlemen, do not think there needs to be a certain number.
No, there's no pressure. We are not looking. I mean, if someone invites us to do a town hall, we will
Oh yeah.
gladly come and speak at a town hall, but that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We are looking for your friends, your neighbors, whether there's 2 or 12 or 20, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter. It's just starting that conversation because we know it doesn't end there,
Never.
right?
Yeah, never.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good place to end our conversation for today.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, awesome.
Kathy, that was great. We covered a lot of different things. I have no idea what we're going to call this video.
I don't know.
It'll
We'll
come
figure it out.
Yeah.
Everything's figure outable, as I like to say.
Right. But thank you to
Awesome.
everybody for joining us. And yeah, we will start doing this on a more regular basis now that life is a little bit back to normal.
Whatever that is.
Whatever that might be. Yeah. Until next month, right?
Until something else comes.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Have a great day, Angela.
Thanks, Kathy. You too.